Okay, I'm going to give you a review of this Syedee leverage gym. This thing, I bought it on sale for $650. The regular price is $700, but that's the version without the bench. If you get the one that's with the bench, that's $900. This is by Syedee, and GMWD, they make the same, or they sell the same machine. There's another manufacturer, PowerTech Fitness. They make a similar gym. It's called a PowerTech Lever Gym, but it costs $1,600. So I bought this one, and I'm going to give a review about it and let you know what I think about it and some of the things I don't like about it. So, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and a lot of people really like this machine, and they said that if they had to choose just one machine, they would choose this one. Now, I know a lot of people also say that you should just get a power cage, but for me, I don't really like using free weights, and I don't like really using body weight either. I prefer machines. Now, this machine, it can do a lot of different things, and so I'm going to show you, some of the things that it can do. These here are these arms that rotate up and down, and the way it works is there's a pin over here and a bunch of holes. And so what you do is, if you want to change the angle, you just pull the pin out and you put it into a different slot to adjust the angle of the arms. And so now this bench is just a standard bench. I already had it from before. I can do a decline, flat, or incline. I can also raise the backrest to go almost 90 degrees up so that I can even do shoulder presses. Now, let me demonstrate the bench press. So let me put some weights on here. Or actually, no, I'm not going to put any weights on. I'll just show you, what it's like to do a regular flat bench press without weights. But, the weights, obviously, they go over here. Right now, I've got the arm in the lowest position, which is right here. Now, one of the things I don't like about this machine is the, different angles you can put this arm. So let me show you what I mean. So with the bench, flat like this, if I try to lay down and do just a flat bench press, you'll see what happens. This is, the handles, they're too low. They should be like right here, but they're down here. So I need to adjust the angle. So let me do that. So you just go over here, you lift this up, and you put the pin in the next hole. And as you can see, the arms are higher. And so now let me try to, all right. So now we'll see now the handles are too high. Okay. They should be down here. And so this is what I was talking about. I wish you could adjust the angle of the arms to have, smaller angles between consecutive angles. And it's because these holes here, even though these holes are close to each other, even if you just move the pin to the next hole, the angle where the handles are is like really high, the angle difference. And so I think that is one thing I don't like about it. I've seen some people, they put something below their bench to raise their bench up so that, the handles are at a good position. But I don't really want to do that. I think some people put pavers too. But yeah, I don't really like to do that. But if I do a decline or an incline 30-degree press, then the position of the handles are actually more or less perfect. And then if I do a shoulder press, like if I do this, for example, well, I'd have to put this thing up to the next hole right there. So, and yeah, well, basically here, I'll just put some weights on. Now you're gonna have to put the weight stops, the clamps, because otherwise these weights might slide off because they're not angled upwards. Let me put another weight on. So in this position, now again, my backrest, I can't go 90 degrees. This is more like 80, 85 degrees, but it's okay. And so this is fine, like the position of it, you know, it's fine. Maybe it's a tad low, but it's okay. And, woo, okay. All right, so you could, yeah, you can just, you know, do this and you got your shoulder press. So that's that. So I think in regards to the bench pressing, it's only when I'm trying to do a flat bench press, the position of the handles are too low or too high. And so that's one thing I don't like about this machine. Let me show you some of the other features. So let me move the bench out of the way. Now this thing comes with a squat bar, and so you can use these arms with this squat bar, so you can do squats, you can do shrugs, you can do, you know, close grip tricep presses. So let me show you that, but I'm gonna have to take these weights off so I can lower the arms. So let me do that real quick. By the way, you can hang these clamps on these 4 hooks over here, which is nice and convenient. This thing also has these weight horns on the side for storage, so that's also really nice. So I'm going to put this down to the bottommost position. It's right down here. And so, right, okay. So now, also notice these arms, they don't converge, okay? So they just go straight up. Whereas with some of my other machines, like this incline bench press, when you're pressing, the arms actually converge towards the center, which actually feels better, but it's not too big of a deal. So just know about that. Now I'm going to connect the squat bar to the handles. So this is the squat bar that this machine comes with, and all you do is you just you know, attach these ends to the ends of the handles. Like that. So right now it's connected and it's snug, okay? You don't screw it in, it just uses like a spring to stick this piece of metal into the hole at the ends of each handle, and now it's like nice and snug. And then you can like do shrugs or you know, squats or you know, like I said, close grip. Well, you've got this padding here. I guess you could move it out the way, but you know, close grip tricep presses. One of the problems I found with this machine though is when you put a lot of weight on on the weight horns of the arms, it creates a problem with the squat bar. I'm going to show you. All right, so I've got 245s for a total of 90, and you know, this thing is still snug. Now, if I were to do this, right, it's still very light. So I'm going to need a lot more than just 245s. Let me put another pair of 45s on. All right, got 2 pairs of 45s for a total of 180. So now you'll notice that this squat bar becomes loose, okay, unlike it was before. And I think what's happening is the weights are kind of pushing the arms in towards each other. So it's causing the pins at the end of the squat bar to become loose and not, really stick all the way in, but it's still connected. Now, if I were to go like this, it's still connected, but it's not really heavy. And one of the reasons, I think, is because this is a leverage arm. And so there's a fulcrum point, and because it's a leverage arm, the weight that you feel, the perceived weight, is actually less than the actual weight. All right, so I'm gonna put some more weight on. I'll put 225s, and you'll see what happens. All right, so that's 180 plus 50, so 230, 200, whoa. So this is what I'm talking about. You see the squat bar just came off, okay? And here, I'm gonna stick it back in, okay? So, but it's even more loose now than it was before. Again, because the heavier the weight, the more it pushes these arms in towards each other, causing the squat bar to be loose. And so, I can't even like lift it because as soon as I try to, the squat bar comes off. And so that's something you should keep in mind if you wanted to use this for shrugs or squats, because, you'll probably use heavier weights. And I don't know if it's just this one machine that I got or if they're all like this, but, this is definitely not going to work when you're using heavy weights. But light weights are fine, but that's not going to work for me. So just keep that in mind if you're considering buying this machine and using it using the squat bar. So let me take off these weights and show you some other features of this machine and what I like and dislike about it. So another feature of this machine is the pulley, okay? The pulley, it's very smooth. Even though the wheels are plastic, I feel like the motion is actually very smooth. The cable stopper is nice because I have another machine over there. It's a lat tower, and the cable stopper ball, it's not as good as this one. This one is good. Now, let's see so right now I've got just some 5s on each side for 10 pounds total. One thing to keep in mind though is this is a 2-to-1 pulley ratio. And so what that means is if you wanna lift 100 pounds, you're gonna need to put 200 pounds of weight on the weight horns in the back. All right, and if you wanna lift 50 pounds or to feel that you're lifting 50 pounds, then you're gonna have to put 100 pounds on the weight horns in the back. Now, the downside to that is you have to buy more weights, which are expensive, and you'll have to load up just a lot more weights on the horns, which is more work. Now, one of the advantages, of course, is, with the 2-to-1 pulley ratio, you can, have more of a variety of weights, perceived weight, but I don't really think that's necessary. I would rather a 1-to-1 pulley ratio like my lat tower, so I don't have to put too many weights on the weight horns. So anyway, so keep that in mind. And another thing that I've noticed is when you're doing, oh, by the way, so this thing comes with a bunch of accessories. So like this is, for if you want to do like some tricep extensions, like you could do this. You could also, you could also do this. Now, for me, one thing I don't like about this machine, and this is just my opinion, when I'm doing overhead tricep extensions, I try to use heavier weights, obviously, so that I can, do progressive overloading, and I can also, go to failure. But when I'm doing that, I feel like, when you're at heavier weights, especially when you're doing certain exercises like the overhead tricep extension, what happens is your body tends to be pulled to the back, right? So right now I've just got some light weights on there, but if I've got heavy weights, then my body is going to want to be pulled to the back. And this is not exactly comfortable because the shape of these arms, it's not flat. Unlike my lat tower, it's got padding for ab crunches. And so I use that pad for to push my back against so that I can feel more comfortable when I'm doing heavier weights and going to failure. And so with this, you know, I could do it. You know, it's just, obviously this is not comfortable. And maybe I'll show you what my lat tower looks like so you can see what I mean. It does work, but I don't know, just not as comfortable. So you can use this machine for that. The pulleys are smooth, actually much more smooth than the pulley in my lat tower. So you can also do this kind of exercise. Now, there are two pulleys. There's a high pulley, there's a, you know, at the top, and there's one at the bottom. So there's two. And so the one at the bottom, you can do things like bicep curls. So like if you put this down here, you know, you could stand right here and you could do some bicep curls. And I like doing bicep curls like this rather than seated with your, you know, triceps resting against like a pad. I actually prefer standing like this. So this is fine. You know, another thing you can do is, so it's got this plate down here where you can, you know, sit and do seated, you know, lat pulls or low rows. And so it comes with this, well, let me take this thing off. It comes with a lat, comes with this lat bar. So you can put the lat bar on the top here, like this, okay? And then you can take your bench and you can do some lat pull downs, okay? So that's another exercise you can do. So, you know, this is good. Now, normally you would want to brace your legs, and so it's got that as well. Down over here, you've got these two pads for your two legs, and you can adjust the angle of these pads by taking this pin out, and you can rotate this, you know, and sticking the pin in to wherever your knees or your legs are. Oh wait, this goes like right over here. Yeah, so something like this, and then you can like do lat pull downs like this. So, you know, this works, this is fine. So now let me put this back over here. Another thing that you can do is seated low rows. And so you just take this thing off, and then you can like put this thing, connect it to the chain down here. Oops. And you can, you know, well, I guess you can't really sit on a bench because, well, I mean, I guess I could maybe push the bench over here and then do this. I don't know. I actually feel like it's more comfortable when I'm sitting on the floor. And so here, let me show you what I mean. So I moved the bench out of the way. Now, again, like I said, there are these foot stops, this foot metal plate down here. And so you can actually sit down and put your feet against this large plate, and then you can, you know, do low rows like this. And, you know, I felt like this was pretty comfortable. Of course, I'd probably put a, you know, some kind of padding on the floor, so I'm not sitting directly on the concrete. But, you know, in terms of like the exercise, I think it's fine. It works just fine. Now, I don't really use this particular lat bar. I have the mag knockoff, which I find to be more comfortable. So in terms of accessories, they give you this lat bar, which is just a basic one. I prefer to use this mag knockoff, and I find this to be a lot more comfortable. So I use this, but I don't just use this alone, because whenever I'm doing pulling exercises, my palms tend to fail first, and it hurts. And so I actually use a special kind of, you know, I use this. So you can see like there's this metal hook. And so you put this on your hand like this. And so, you know, this now will protect your palm. And so when you are pulling, you know, I can just hook this metal piece onto this metal end over here. And this is a lot more comfortable. And I actually could do more reps using this accessory, this metal hand accessory. So I like to use this with the mag knockoff lat bar. And then another accessory that it comes with is a short bar like this. So you can do things like, you know, tricep push downs. Again, this is just a cheap one. It doesn't rotate. And so I actually bought a separate one. Let me show you that. Yeah, so this is, you know, a separate one that I got. This one's heavy, but it feels good and it rotates. And so when I'm doing like, you know, tricep push downs, this feels much better. So I use this. Now this thing also comes with, these are like these, you know, like these straps that you attach to your legs, and then you can, you know, you can do like, what do people do? They kind of go like this to work your legs. I don't know. I don't use this machine for that, but it comes with that. And what else? Oh yeah, and then at the bottom over here, there are these little, there's three kind of like pegs that you can, on both sides, and so you can put some sort of those resistant bands that you loop around those pegs down there, and then you loop them around these weight horns to provide additional resistance when you're working out. I don't do that, but you can do that. Yeah, and so those are the main exercises and features, I think. You know, you can do other exercises, like you can, you know, stand and do this if you want, which, yeah, I mean, they're like shoulder presses, but I've got a dedicated shoulder press machine, which I find to be more comfortable. And yeah, I mean, I think that's mainly it. Those are the main features of this machine. So again, for $650, at least that's how much I paid on sale. It's pretty good, except for some of those issues that I found, like the squat bar doesn't work when you're putting a lot of weight on the weight horns, or when you're doing a flat bench press, the handles are either too low or too high. And so you need to, I don't know, either put up with it or put something underneath your bench to raise it up a bit so that the handles are just where they should be. And the last issue that I have is the 2-to-1 pulley ratio, which, is just inconvenient because then you have to put a lot of weights on, and you have to buy more weights, which are expensive. So yeah, that's pretty much it. For $650, it's a lot cheaper than the PowerTech Fitness one, which costs $1,600. But I believe a new model is coming out where they're going to have 2 vertical rows of holes. And so you'll have holes in between these existing holes, but in the second vertical row, and that would allow you to have more angles for the arms. So instead of, being here and here, you would have another angle in between the two, and that would be really good. So that's pretty much it for, oh yeah, and then let me show you my lat tower. Okay, yeah, so this is my lat tower, and just to compare some of the exercises that I can do with this one versus the leverage gym. With this, I can also, it's got a pulley system, but like I said, it's a 1-to-1 pulley ratio, so you don't have to put too much weight on it. And, it's got a seat with these, leg pads, so you can, just like with the other one, but this is all integrated. So you just basically, sit, and you can adjust the position. I find this one to be pretty comfortable, but again, the pulley is not as smooth as the Syedee pulley. I do have this, silicone lubricant, so I might try to lubricate the bearings for the various pulleys. That might help, but I have a feeling the Syedee pulley will still be smoother. Now, again, one thing I really like about this machine is if I take off the seats, I can do the overhead tricep extensions, but I've got this pad here, which is actually intended for doing ab crunches. So you can sit and just do ab crunches. I don't use this machine for that because it's got this pulley in the middle. So there's 3, places. There's a high pulley, middle pulley, and a low pulley, whereas the Syedee leverage gym only has 2, one on top and one on the bottom. So anyway, if I were to do some overhead tricep extensions, which I do every 2 or 3 days, I can rest my back against this pad over here, and so I can go heavy, and it's really comfortable. Another thing is you'll notice that there's that metal bar there, so I can put my toes against the metal, and so it kind of locks me into place. So it's just, I find it to be a lot more comfortable. So if I wanted, to do something like that, my body's not moving around. Whereas with that, when I go heavy, my body I'm having to balance and, control position of my body because it tends to move around. So that's what I like about this machine. And then, you can do the same exercises as, with the other Syedee leverage gym pulley, because it's got, the top and bottom pulleys. And so, yeah. And then over here, I've got let me show you over here. So this is well, it's the Syedee shoulder press machine, and it also has lateral delt raises, and so you can do shoulder presses like I showed you with the Syedee leverage gym, but you have to put your bench down, and then, well, my bench doesn't do a 90 degrees, and so I have to do sort of an 80. With this one, it's closer to a 90, and so I actually find this one to be more comfortable. And so, you just basically go like this, and I like this more. And also, yeah, you can do, lateral delt raises with this too, which is also pretty comfortable, but it is a separate machine. And so again, if you don't have a lot of space, and you can only get 1 or 2 machines, then maybe the Syedee is better for you. So the Syedee leverage gym is better. So yeah, that's the machine. I actually have one more machine over. Well, I've got a couple more machines, but so this here is a. It's also by Syedee. This is the incline bench press or chest press, and this one is actually really comfortable. So I like this one a lot. This one has converging arms, unlike the Syedee one, the Syedee leverage gym, that the arms just go straight up. This one, as you can see, the arms go in. I find that to be more comfortable. And then you can also adjust the angle of the backrest. So between, I think, 30 and 45 degrees, I think. Anyway, this machine takes a lot of space, but it's very comfortable. It's even got like the seat where you can adjust the height and position of it. And so when you're working out, like you're really locked into place, like you're not moving around. It's very comfortable. And so I can just like sit like this, and I can just basically, go like that. And for me, my philosophy is, it's got to be comfortable. Otherwise, you're not really going to use it. You're not going to be able to, you're just not going to be motivated to use it as much if you're not enjoying the workout. And you might not even be, making progress or being effective if you're not, working out with proper form and so on, or, doing progressive overloading to failure. And some of these little things I mentioned, like the backrest, all of those things contribute to, I think, just making better progress because, you're just more comfortable. So anyway, so those are just some of the machines. I've got one more machine too, actually, but I'm going to sell that one. So going back to this machine. So anyway, this is the Syedee leverage gym. And that's my review of it. And it's, pretty good, again, except for a few of those things that I mentioned. So hopefully this video helps you out, and, good luck. Thanks.